So, hey, my name is Jerome Robinson. Let me get my glasses here from the Robinson Report. I have a special guest, David Kinder from the Robinson Report. He's an investigative reporter. And because I'm bedridden, been in the hospital for a few days, broken shoulder, broken foot, he's driven about an hour and a half, come down to do the interview right here in the hospital room. So, thank you, David. Hey, this is Jerome Robinson with the Robinson Report, aka the Rooster. Hey, so I have with me a special guest. First time is Sir David Kinder. David Kinder works on the Robinson Report as an investigative reporter. He's currently working on, he's going to be doing an expose on Antifa, right? Mm-hmm. Antifa and Antifa's connection with George Soros. Mm-hmm. Are you checking out like the Clintons or Black Lives Matters at all?
I'll see where the investigation leads.
Okay, cool. So, tell me, you're a conservative, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been a conservative?
I would say I've been a conservative since at least 95.
Okay. You've always voted Republican, or?
I voted Republican. Sometimes, like this last election, I voted for Trump because I figured it was the less of the two evils. I mean, there's ideas in both that I just don't,
See, you're not a Trump nut. You just chose Trump because he was the best option at the time.
Exactly.
Okay. One of the reasons why, let me tell you this. One of the reasons I like having you on the Robinson Report, the team, is because I like people who are willing to learn new things, who are open-minded, who are willing to make decisions based on fact and not emotion. So I want to give you, you're a former teacher and highly educated person, and you seem to know your stuff. You don't, do things based on emotion. You make decisions based on fact, and I've known you for many years and very impressed with you. So thank you and welcome as part of the team. So you voted for Trump. Tell me who are you voting for in 2020, November 2020?
Right now, I'm sticking with the president as he is right now because of the fact of it's really hard when you're under like a crisis right now or anything to change up the person that's in charge with it, because it just makes it more worse than it does the better.
Okay. What if there was no crisis?
If there was no crisis, based on what he's done for our country, as in got our economy back going again and got our jobs going, I would definitely stand behind a person that's trying to better our country. And I don't see that.
Who is that?
What?
Who is that?
Right now I see that as Trump. I don't see the other people trying. All I see is every time I hear somebody saying that they want to better the country, they're doing it in ways that make it seem to be not. I don't see how their plan is going to be practical.
Okay, you're talking about former Vice President Joe Biden, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you're not voting for former Vice President Joe Biden?
No, I'm not voting for Biden, no.
You stated one is because you don't see his plan as working for the government? working for the country?
Well, I see it as working for the government, but not for the country, right?
Okay. Is that your only reason?
That and the fact of that I really got a problem with the way he comes across to people. It seems so choppy, and he seems so... I got no problem if you got emotions, it's natural. People that he reacts to them too badly. And if you're going to be leading this country, if someone gets mad, you can't sit there and do that. Now, granted, I know Trump is guilty of that too, because he goes off on his emotions. But he tries to be more respectful for it, and he does make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes.
I actually see Trump, current President Trump, as acting more like a crybaby wah-wah more than almost any more than any president I've ever seen in my... Now, I'm going to use the term my opinion a lot, but this is what I've seen. Factual as I see it. He whines a lot. So you when you made that statement, as if former Vice President Biden does that, and then you say, well, don't get me wrong, President Trump does that too. Actually, in my opinion, President Trump kind of leads the way in doing that. So I think that would be more of a con or a negative on our current president right now. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree with that.
Okay, so I'm trying to stick to the facts and keeping emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the con you said about President or former Vice President Biden is actually more of a con with President Trump, in my opinion. So what else is it that you like about President Trump or do not like about President Biden? Why you'd vote for President Trump over former Vice President Biden?
Because I have seen over, like in the last administration when he was vice president, I have seen things that he claims he isn't accountable for, but the facts are he is. And it's
do you have anything specific?
Well, the mention of the Ukraine and
Okay.
the trying to mess with the election. That is been, he's been involved with that, yet he claims he's not been. And it's, my biggest thing with that is you've got to own up and be who you're going to be. If you're going to be the leader of this country, we need to be able to stand behind you and trust you. And I don't see how that can be based on his experience.
Okay. Is there any other reason that you like President Trump for president and don't like President or former Vice President Biden for president?
I'm the type of person that because being conservative, granted, Trump isn't conservative, but he does tend to lean toward my beliefs, my views. That's why I'm more toward Trump than I am over Biden.
Okay. Is there anything you like about former Vice President Biden that you would vote for him?
I mean, I have seen a video. I mean, it's just, I really have not, to be honest with you, I've not really looked at him as a person. I've just looked at him as his ideas and his ideals. So honestly, I couldn't judge the man as a person unless I really researched that.
Okay. But you say for sure you're definitely voting for President Trump.
As of this point, yes. That could change in a couple of months because the election's still 4 months away.
Okay.
But
all right. Do you view President Trump as a liar?
I don't believe him as a liar, as in the fact of maybe yes, if you're not telling all the facts, then yes, you can say a liar. But then I look at it and go, as a country, we don't need to know everything the president does because of the fact of that. That's the protection and security. All
right. So, so yes or no? Does the president lie a lot? Our current president?
I would say no.
Okay. Do you view, and this is where I would say yes. I see if he didn't have the watchful eye on him. You know what? Let me not exaggerate. I would say he definitely has the potential to lie, and he doesn't necessarily state all the facts as he could. I think he's a great salesperson, and he sells, or tries to anyway. But do you think he's a narcissist?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I definitely believe he talks way too much about himself.
Egomaniac?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think he's a good businessman? I don't know how much you know about his past.
I don't, on his business dealings, I don't really know of it. I know he's been successful, but I've also known that he's pulled himself out of bad situations and made them better. So, I mean, as a businessman, I can see where he's helped our country, yes, by getting our economy going and getting our jobs better and doing better, trying to get better trade deals with other countries. So I would say yes. When it comes to negotiation, I would say yes.
Okay. What do you think of Bernie Sanders? I know he's not running anymore, obviously, but what do you think of Bernie Sanders?
Bernie Sanders is, in my opinion, a communist, a left-wing, way out there, wants to have the government pay for everything, and we're just going to pay for it. He has no plan behind it, and he wants to make sure that we've got universal health care, which I can understand, but then again, I personally like the choice. I don't want to have to say yes. I've got to take this.
Okay. So you don't believe insurance is a right?
It's a privilege to have insurance.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it should be forced on you. That's the thing.
You want to give us any teasers on what you know about Antifa and George Soros so far, or you want to save that?
So far, I have found out that Antifa is definitely a political, chaotic, a very group that is looking to just cause chaos at all times. And they have proof, which I'm going to be able to show soon, of the fact that he has funded groups. I mean, they did say that they thought with Minneapolis that there was a bunch of people there. That turned out to not be true. It turned out that there was mostly locals that were there doing that. They didn't buzz people in. But in Portland, it's all Antifa because that's where they're based.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see.
All right. Cool. We'll look forward to that coming out, that report. So you think you're voting for Trump. What do and I know this is a touchy subject because guess what? You're white, right? I'm not looking for you to be alienated, right? I can get away with more things than white people can, although many black people will tell you the opposite, right? So we're touching on, touchy ground here, but I'm going to ask anyway because that's what I do. Black Lives Movement. It's out there. What's your thoughts on Nancy Pelosi and her, and Joe Biden and, they're playing to Black Lives Movement?
Well, my thing with that is one, I'm a person that doesn't see color.
Okay.
I never have. I've got friends that are all races and religions. So I don't see it. So to me, it's hard to say that because I can see where they're coming from because they feel that they're being mistreated.
Okay.
But asking the government to practically take care of everything for you gives you no purpose, gives you no want to do something. Because I mean,
how are they being mistreated?
Well, they say they are because they say they're being abused by police.
You don't think that's regular corruption?
What?
You don't think that's just regular crooked cop corruption as opposed to racial profiling or racial bias?
Well, I think it's more of that it happens to everybody.
Correct.
It doesn't happen just because of, in this case, this most big thing that sparked all this was wrong, and not a single person does not believe that was wrong. You can't say that the man deserved to die like he did. There's nothing there. Everybody believes that was wrong. It's just that when you go into this trying to say that it's a stereotype, that's the problem. Because we're not picking on a specific race. It goes back to like back in 2001, after 9/11. Everybody claimed that we were picking on the Muslims too much. And we weren't going after the religion. We were going after the radical people in that movement, not saying the religion's bad itself. Same thing here. We're not deliberately signaling people out and saying, you're the one that's going to get into the most trouble.
Okay. Hey, listen, I appreciate your time. David actually, because I'm bedridden in the hospital with a broken shoulder and foot, David actually came to me. He drove an hour and a half, or how long did it take you to get here?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half to come to me in the hospital to do this interview, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, David, for your time. I look forward. When do you think? Maybe next week, the week after, you'll have that Antifa report?
Sure, yeah.
And then a little more research on both Black Lives Matter, a political movement, Democrat versus Republican, things of that nature. All right? And and I know you're somewhat of a religious man, so I'd like to hear what you have on that as well. David, thank you for so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much, David Kinder, everybody, from the Robinson Report.
Hey, can you do me one more thing? I forgot to tell you this. Can you support my videos? Can you subscribe? Can you hit the like button down below? Can you subscribe? And more importantly, can you share it with your friends and family? It helps me get the word out so you can get to know Jesus. I'm trying to turn the tables in this world. I'm asking for your help to do it. I haven't made a penny off of YouTube, and I don't plan on it. My goal is to spread the word of Jesus. I love all of you. please share, like, and subscribe. It'll do me a great solid, and I appreciate all that you can do to help me spread the word of Jesus Christ. I love you all. Mwah. Have a great day. All right, thank you.